congratulations to all the councils that are here. The majority of you are from the Digital Planning Improvement Fund, but there are some others joining us in this session this afternoon. What's on the agenda this afternoon? So we're into our welcome introductions. I'm going to talk broadly about MHCLG's digital planning programme. We are going to explore what you're here to do. We're going to look at our and your expectations, and then we're going to look about working together, and then a bit of wrapping up the end with what's going to happen next. Who's here from ODP? Controversially, going from right to left, we've got Josh Kojoe, we've got Phil James, Carly Hughes, and myself, Tom Lowndes. I am Tom Lowndes. I'm a community lead. I'm a community lead because I've been in this bit of the programme for longer, and I kind of know where the skeleton's buried. I know the people to talk to. I try and work across all the amazing things that we do in the programme. Hopefully, well, I expect some of you have seen to me and some of my glasses, although Phil James is outstretching me in terms of like spectacles. But hopefully I'm qualified to be here and talk about a little about the journey so far. In the beginning, we had a vision, and that was to support a modern and efficient 21st century planning system that is data-driven, standards-based, and powered by a modern user-centered products and services. We have 4 main areas in the programme. They overlap, and you will at some point contribute to all these outcomes. Better access to planning data, faster and more efficient planning systems, improved local community engagement, simpler, faster, more accessible plan making. In the first phase, the digital planning programme has been laying the foundations for a modern digital planning system which is able to operate more efficiently and meet the needs of planning professionals and citizens. The areas of focus in this phase have been on proving the art of the possible, stimulating industry demand, setting up the tools, services, and data landscape that is needed to deliver this ambition. We talk about interventions in 4 specific areas: data, software, local plans, and community engagement. And we supported the creation of the open digital planning community to accelerate these interventions. Right, let's have a look at what we've achieved so far. We have built a national planning data platform, which is currently receiving 20 million hits per month, has 500 data sets and over 100 planning considerations on the platform. We have passed legislation and regulation to the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act. We have generated evidence to scale the adoption of the PropTech for citizen engagement and plan making. We have enabled sector growth, bridging the gap between public and tech sectors to build a growing network of leaders. We've set up the community of practice, the Open Digital Planning Programme, and built the foundations of using AI in the planning system to leverage the latest technology to speed up the planning system. Hopefully, you will have all seen and used the planning data platform, which is designed to find, use, and trust planning data in England. It's widely used by software companies, land agents, property developers, planning analysts, and others with an interest in planning and housing. It's opening up planning data that hasn't been available at a national scale before. The platform is growing and hosts hundreds of data sets from all across the public sector, including all LPAs on this call. Hopefully, you'll have already provided data, but we'll post a link in the chat and you can check for yourself. And looking at regulations, the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act was passed under the previous government, and it covers some planning data players, which includes an ability for us to set data standards and LPAs to apply those standards to. For example, planning applications coming to the LPA. We're currently working on regulations under the Act to bring these into place, and we will continue to work closely with the LPAs on these as they develop. Over the years, the programme has run successive funding rounds under product, PropTech, and development management, supporting you, the LPAs, and a host of planning software suppliers to test new ideas and approaches. Being part of the ODP community will give you opportunities to influence, test, and adopt new products and services. Many of you here will know of Amit Shilji's backing for the LPA-led product stack. These tools have been built in response to user needs, the users being you, planning officers, GIS officers, and delivery experts, and all are live services. The value in these products as they were designed and tested on you, and you are first to take advantage of the national planning platform. All of them are now proven to provide savings for both officer time and reductions in invalid applications. We have 16 LPAs with live Planning services, over 100 services being delivered between them, and a further 4 who are actively implementing it, plus a further 21 who have applied for further funding to do so. We also have 3 LPAs piloting the full stack and about 4 working towards this. If you want to know anything about this right now, just put your email in the chat and we'll come right back to you. Wrapping up now, I just want to reflect on the extraordinary community we have created. My point being is that it was a suggestion from a council team, London Borough of Lambeth in fact, that what was missing in local government sector was a way of testing new products and services, a way to check assumptions, gather expertise across local and central government. So we helped set up ODP, and now we have grown to over 220 LPAs. We're working in the open, connecting and clustering around specific needs, taking advantage of bespoke learning and developing offers, testing new tools and products, improving the quality of your planning data and developing new ways of working. That's it from me. I'm going to hand over to you, Carly.
Thanks, Tom. So as Tom said earlier, I'm Carly, one of the community managers in ODP, and I'm nearly at my first anniversary in the team. And it's really exciting to welcome all the new DPIF cohort. I know we've got some people not on DPIF, but this is our biggest cohort that we're welcoming, so it's super exciting to see so much interest in joining. So what are you here to do? So on this slide, you can see the key things that local planning authorities have been working on so far as part of the Open Digital Planning community. So going from left to right, we have LPAs who are co-designing and adopting Open Digital Planning products. Some of you might be on this call, but if you are not familiar with the ODP products, we will be doing an introduction to products as part of your onboarding onto DPIF, where you'll find out more, but there's also lots of information on our ODP website. The second one, which is where most of you will fall under on DPIF, is all the LPAs modernising their planning services, including working on planning data. So that is what we're here to do in Digital Planning Improvement Fund. We've also had lots of LPAs working on PropTech. So again, if you're not familiar with this, you will find out more at events, all the stuff that's going on around PropTechs, and there's lots of case studies as well going on that you can read as well about this. And we've also got other things going on, lots of LPAs working on some innovative digital planning projects. We've got LPAs who are testing and drafting and co-designing and bringing evidence to draft data standards, lots of work going on with suppliers. And finally, there's also LPAs that have previously had funding, but are now just part of, well, I say just part, but they continue to be part of Open Digital Planning and engage in all things going on in the community. And all of this is underpinned by lots of support, which Josh will go into in a later section. So that's all the kind of things that LPAs have been funded to do and are funded to do as part of ODP, but that's not all that ODP is about. There's a lot more to it. So ODP is more than just delivering the funding or project requirements. It's also a community. It's a place to convene local planning officers, and digital officers working in the planning space. It's bringing everyone together, supporting sharing information and providing opportunities to learn things and complete formal learning as well that otherwise might not have happened. So going from left to right again, we have ODP events where we bring LPAs together in person across the country on a regular basis. We'll talk more about that in the future as well, so that we can all connect with each other, discuss interests, challenges. We have digital skills training, which you will hear more about in due course, but we've designed an LD offer based on LPA needs. So this includes things like agile training, JS training. We have had working groups. At the moment, there's actually one about Power BI and AI, and lots of other things going on. So if you are interested in anything, we do encourage LPA officers to set up their own working groups as well. Peer support, so there's lots of sharing insights and asking for support from your peers across the country. We do lots of show and tells, which you might already be familiar with, but an opportunity for you to share what you're doing, reflect on successes, lessons from each other, and just hear about what everyone else is doing. We also have what we've put on here called shared assets and resources, which is quite a formal way of saying we've got loads of guidance, case studies, examples, and all sorts out there. So that includes our main resource hub, which you'll get access to soon, and Josh will cover a bit more later, but ODP Hub. We've also got the planning data platform, which we've just gone through, and yeah, a few others, but Josh will go through all that in a bit more detail later on. But all of this is underpinned by our ODP values and behaviours. So as a community, we have co-designed these, and we will regularly revise them with the community. So we last reviewed these back in October or November in our event in Medway. When was Medway? October, I think, where we did a revision of these. And what we did then is add the behaviours, because we wanted to bring the values to life a bit more. And I won't read them all out to you, and you will have access to these slides and everything before, but as we are growing the community, we obviously need to make sure they are reflective of who is in the community. So you will get opportunity to revise these and give your opinions on them. But just going through the values, we've got be honest, be open and honest, be ambitious but realistic, learn and grow together, be curious, and be collaborative by default. And all of these help us come together with a shared understanding, regardless of what we're working on, because as you've seen, there's people in the community working on delivering different things. Yeah, so this is my final slide, and we've just got a couple of quotes on here and some pictures. But yeah, this is just some feedback we received and a bit of a plug to have a look at our case studies on our ODP website, where you can read loads more about what LPA has been up to, and these are also shared on our LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, do follow and engage with us, and hopefully we'll be able to get a case study from you one day soon, and share all the good work that you'll no doubt be doing. And I am handing over to Phil, who is going to take over the screen.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Carly. And just a little bit of an introduction from me then. So Phil James, another one of the community managers, a little bit newer to the team, as in I think it's coming up to about 8 months now since I joined Local Digital, but no means new to the department. If I look familiar, that would be because I've been working with local authorities for over 20 years, a civil servant for almost 35 years. and sort of background has been very much working with local authorities in peacetime and when there's been emergency response as a government liaison officer. I've also worked in the COBRA team and have kind of come over to the wonderful world of planning. So, and hopefully you've received enough emails from me for those that are coming on and onboarding as part of 4.2, as I kind of led on recruitment, but working very closely, obviously, with Carly, Josh, and Tom on all of that. But I'd just like to say a well done to you all for submitting and getting through the application process. And as Carly had reflected, you are our biggest cohort that we're onboarding to date. So it's great for us that there is still the interest and that you're also keen to join us and put in the hard work. But well done to you all to getting to this point so far. So a little bit from me then in terms of expectations, which just leads on very nicely from stuff that Carly was saying. But we're very much about communicating openly. We like to try and pride ourselves on being a really informal team. We absolutely get that you're busy people, resources are tight. Sharing and being open and communicating with us, and even if there's bumps in the road that you weren't expecting, sharing that with us, sharing that with others, there's always a benefit in doing that. So it's great if you can be part of the community and just make sure that you work in the open channels that we provide you with, and we'll say more about that as well. But it's great to share successes and anything that is difficult. It's also really great to be proactive, and in doing that, again, just a collaboration across local and central government is an art form. And so being proactive and, sharing what you're doing can really help others who haven't perhaps had that opportunity to just sit down and think about things. And again, with what we want to provide is just empowerment and create a community where teams can get together and get work done. And that really then links in very nicely in how we just look for you to all just do effective collaboration, and even just small things, where it is, attending our events, having camera on, using your emojis to let us know you're with us is sometimes all that is required. It just means that for everybody else on the call, it just isn't a number of blank faceless tiles with initials. So where you feel comfortable to show your face on screen, even if you're not speaking, we just think that makes it a much more nicer personal thing to do. You will, in time, be asked to do some regular reporting. That helps us with the metrics of how you're doing, and with the funding that you're going to receive as well from us. That there is obviously that expectation. Again, we'll say a little bit more on that, but there will be that requirement, and we're always trying to improve, the processes around reporting. So, again, when it does come to that, if you have some feedback for us, with all ears, because everything that we build into this program is all around continuous improvement, and we want to build this based around, this is your community, what works better for you, new ideas. It's great bringing on new people, actually, because you will no doubt have some fresh ideas about what we have been doing and ways that could be improved. So please do share that with us. When it comes to public documentation, again, that links into a little bit about what Carly was saying, and case studies, and we share things on the ODP Hub. You'll, again, get to hear a little bit more about that from Josh, and we'll be sharing you the link, so you'll all have access to that. But again, anything that, can be shared on that, so it becomes a one-stop shop, that's very much what we mean by public documentation, working in the open, sharing things for others, testing out new ideas. If you've got anything that helps others, let's use where we can the opportunity to put that on. And the same when it comes to reusable outputs. Risk taking, we're absolutely open to you to taking some risks in the ways that you work and approach, the publishing of your data sets, if that's what you're here to do. So do be professionally brave and be open to new ideas and learning, as we certainly are as well. As I've said, we don't pretend that everything is perfect or everything's right, and through sharing new ideas and learning with us as well, we can only make things better. So we absolutely get that you're all here with a great ambition to continue to improve your planning services, but we do also ask that you give yourselves the space to consider new ideas and take the time to learn. And we'll tell you again in a bit more detail next week around the learning opportunities that are also made available for you with no charge to you. So your opportunities then. So I'll just skate over this very quickly, but it is to say around your opportunities to deliver. So take some responsibility for your own project and outcomes and timelines. This isn't a race. You'll all work at different pace. We absolutely get that. The ideal here is in delivery that, you know, we sort of say it can take up to 12 months to do the work on publishing your data sets. Some will do that quicker. Some of you will take longer. That's all fine, but definitely, you know, do take that responsibility to deliver, and keep it in mind that, you know, work on this as a project is what we would say there. In terms of developing, access the resources to evolve your planning services, gain those new skills and experience. This is absolutely an opportunity to do that and do something different from your day job and improve planning services for everybody. So this is a great opportunity to almost reset and get you away from some of the sort of regular work that you're used to. This is a new community, new people to work with. Collaborate, so we've touched on that already, but learn and support from each other, absolutely. Showcase the benefits of public-sector partnership and skill sharing. So again, that comes from the show and tells, that comes from being at our events and the networking, and it absolutely comes from, you know, anything in terms of case studies, or even just sharing them at drop-in sessions that we run. And certainly when it comes to the influence, you've all got that opportunity from here on in, and you will have had opportunities before, but absolutely the opportunity now to shape the future of planning in England. You're absolutely at the cutting forefront of leading that transformational work, and you know, you've clearly, by just applying and coming into the ODP community, absolutely adopting better planning technology and the demand from your suppliers. And the underline to all of this work, if you like, the golden thread that we come back to is in this Parliament, our ministers have set that overall ambition to build 1.5 million new homes. And we absolutely have the stats and the metrics that back up that by doing work in this digital planning transformation space, that absolutely leads to quicker turnaround in planning, ultimately leading to building new homes quicker. So yes, do work with us on that power of influence you all have. Our approach then to risk and reporting. So it's a broad approach that you as LPAs will follow, although formats will differ between funds. But certainly there is the need to share monthly progress via Delta. Some of you may be familiar with Delta before, but certainly we'll give you more details on that. You're not reporting yet by any stretch either. That comes some further down the line, some weeks down the line. I think we're probably looking at reporting kicking in around May or June. So don't panic yet. We'll say more on that. But there will be that expectation, your monthly reporting to us. There then is also the opportunity for you to share your progress with your peers. That will be via Slack. Again, we'll talk to you about Slack, but it's a month note and it can be just really high level, but it is just to work again in the open and let people see what progress you've made that month. And even if you haven't made progress, that's sometimes just equally as important to share, because it lets others know that there's sometimes some challenges and blockers where things have prevented you from moving forward as quickly as you want. Just again, it's all about working in the open. Attending sessions to reflect on your progress. There'll be a number of, different sessions we'll talk to you about again, but there's all different things about, dropping in with us and reflecting your progress, or as I say, show and tells can all be incredibly useful. And taking part in community activities, not least of all events. There is no expectation to come to events, but we really encourage it. And that's why we say part of the funding you receive is enabling you, hopefully, to get to events. And we love to spread ourselves across the country. So we do make sure our events aren't just all in London. We as a team are spread across the country. We recognise you are all spread across the country. So, we will be, we've got hopefully some other events coming up later this year. You know about the Keswick one, and Josh will say a little bit more about that. But there'll be other events in other parts of the country. And in time, we'll absolutely be asking you, can you even host a future event? And in part of my portfolio, I lead on events. So it'd be great to have those conversations with you if you think that you'd love to host an event. So we look forward to those conversations with any one of us in the team, because we all do work incredibly closely together. Just some advice. We do try to keep our expectations relatively light. We appreciate a few meetings go in the diary. That doesn't mean you all have to come along. You might appoint somebody who goes and represents the team and feeds back. But we do ask you to engage with the community where relevant, because this is a community, and it's not just for your fun necessarily. There's all other cohorts or other people working in the ODP community, and certainly for those, as I say, that we're bringing in 4.2, you're a large community, but we'll encourage you to work with those that have been on this journey a bit longer than you as well. We've learned a lot from the past few years, and we've seen that these are things that will help you to be successful as a collective. But as I say, we absolutely build in continuous improvements. I'm always open to those comments from you. And the more you engage, this is the key thing here, the more you engage, the more opportunities you seize, the more likely you are to have great success. Hopefully that resonates with you all. And then just to pop in another visual, so it's not all words. This was from ODP Camp back in 2024, I believe, in Newcastle, before most of our time. I think Tom, as a veteran, was around then. But our events are just growing and growing, which is fantastic. No surprises, the community getting bigger, but our feedback is all the time, this is a great event, really benefited from that. And the way we're running our events now is absolutely, we want to work with you where we co-facilitate things. You have the opportunities to add to the agenda. So enough talking from me. Changing gear here, we're going to hand over to Josh.
Thank you, Phil. I'm just sharing my screen to present the same slides. Let me know if you can see that. I'll get you up to the right slide, then we'll continue. If you can all see that.
Yeah, that's good, Josh.
Lovely, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Joshua Kodjo, as colleagues have said, and would you believe it, I am another community manager. So there are quite a few of us across ODP. So I'm the newest member of the team. I was just working out the dates in the background, and Monday coming the 9th will be 8 months since I've joined the team, and so much has happened in a short space of time, and yeah, it's amazing to be part of a great digital team as well as working with others. And my background, I was working for a local authority for 5 years prior to this role, so I get some of the challenges, and if only in my role, which was more community safety, there was a community of local planning or local authorities, yes, I think I would have relished even more in that role and got a lot of answers to a lot of questions we had in our local authority. So yeah, I'll just say some of the things I'll touch on is around spaces or areas you can access your peers and others, and yeah, certainly utilise and make the most of them. But yeah, I'll stop talking about where I was from, move on. So different types of support available then. So one of them is a self-service support. So we try and encourage through ODP Hub and our purpose-built website, where there are various channels of guidance on there and information. So that's the main one around self-service. Of course, you've got peer support, as I was just talking about. You're the biggest community for digital planning in the country. So tap into that collective knowledge and experience. And quite often, if you've got a question, one of your peers or another LPA will probably answer that before we get to it, because it's sometimes lived experience is best experience. And MHCLG support as well. So support from your community managers, the MHCLG planning data team and other teams in MHCLG. So we're always accessible and available to help, ideally through Slack, because it's probably the quickest channel. The next bit is just around the planning data website and the service that is used to upload your data set. So without going into it too much, this is what the landing page will look like. But you'll get all of this and access to your own dashboard, and each LPA has its own dashboard with various bits on there around what you need to complete and the steps to follow, and the guidance is on there. So ODP tools then. So as I said, in terms of self-service, the main one is ODP Hub, where most of our guidance will be on there. So we use ODP Hub to host information and tools you need to help you in your journey towards more modern planning practices. And you'll be able to access the resources and guidance for each stage of your journey, and access tools and training to improve your digital planning maturity. And the next one is Slack. So we use Slack as our primary communications tool to help you gather and share resources, as well as the access to the right support quickly. So those joining in cohort 4.2, you'll have your own channel to go through some of the similar themes and challenges you'll be experiencing, and successes. And as well as that, you'll be added to other channels such as the open all LPA channel, where all LPAs across ODP will be in that channel, as well as other channels such as the help data support channel, where you can get answers to any questions or challenges you're experiencing around the data. And then equally in some of those channels, we'll be popping updates in there. We also do weekly notes to give you any updates around meetings that are upcoming or events that may be upcoming, and also to sometimes just share successes as well in those channels. ODP tools. So I think most of you will be using Microsoft Teams, so you should be familiar with that, but we use that in our meetings. As you can see, we're on Teams today. And in some of those meetings, we may use breakout rooms, share learning and challenges during collaborative sessions, stay up to date on progress or changes across Planex, BOPs and integrations, and join show and tell discussions. And without going into it too much, that will be covered next week, but during your journey or your DPIF journey, you'll be expected to present a show and tell, which we host monthly. And that's one of the things that you'd be using Teams for, to obviously share and facilitate that session. The other thing that we use is Mural, which is an interactive whiteboard, it's basically a digital whiteboard. We use Mural to help with collaboration on the programme and in projects. You'll be able to run workshops or brainstorming sessions, collaborate on challenges, solutions, build out visual roadmaps and stories for show and tell sessions, and share learnings and challenges during collaborative spaces. Just looking at the ODP community team, as you've heard from Tom, Carly, Phil and myself. Also in the team, we've got Dami. He is a ODP community product manager, Stanley, who is a community user researcher, and Charlie, who is a community manager working on the product side of things. And I'm sure you'll meet and hear from them over the coming sessions. And then just some advice from LPAs to LPAs, really. I won't read every single one because I'm conscious of time. And equally, I can talk on and on and on if I'm given the opportunity to, but I'll pick out a few. So looking at the blue one, use the knowledge of the other ODP LAs as they are an invaluable resource. And I think this one, ask those stupid questions, because I think sometimes we can think, oh, that's a stupid question. And, you know, we'd like to say no question is a stupid question. If anything, it'll be coming from me. So ask away. If you've got something that's, you know, you're not quite sure of, pop it in the chats on Slack or in the sessions, ask those questions. And I'm sure if it's not an LPA answering them, we'll certainly get the answer for you. And I think that takes me on to what's happening next, which you'll be keen to hear about. So obviously today's session is Welcome to ODP. The next session is next Tuesday. I won't be here, unfortunately, but you'll be in the fellow, I'll be in Porto, but you'll be in the fellow capable hands of my colleagues. So you won't be hearing from me, but we'll be providing more details around DPIF. And then following that, the next biggest terms of key session is Lake District. And that's our ODP spring event. And I'm just going to pop that in the chat while I'm talking. Registrations are going really well and spaces are limited. And I promise you, we're not just saying that to get you to sign up. There are limited spaces left. I don't have the exact number, but I'm sure if you get in and you do it by close of play today, you'll secure a spot. So yeah, please do sign up. And on the registration, there's bits on there around what you'd like to see on the agenda, which will help form those kind of conversations, what the event looks like. But yeah, a reminder that you can use your funding as well to cover expenses or accommodation to travel. to there. Phil, do you want to come in on that?
I was just going to say, I know from some of the new cohort coming on from 4.2, I have had conversations with some, and I know you're on the call today about it's difficult to get there. So by no means feel under any pressure. Hopefully that's come across in what we've said previously and certainly echoes Josh here. It's great to be at events, but we appreciate this is a slightly shorter notice one for you all, or is a little bit harder to get to depending where you are in the country. So if you've sort of said you can't come, and you've said that to us previously, we absolutely recognise that. There'll be others, you know, we're looking to have something in June, July sort of period. So maybe that will be your opportunity to come along. And we're really trying to get an events calendar set up. As I say, Josh and I work really closely with LPAs. That's something where you'll see at least where other events are. If you've sort of thought that you weren't going to come, but, you know, thinking about it and you think you could get the time and you can spare the time to get there and you'll have the money from us by then, because that's something else I was going to say very quickly. We're hoping to release the funding on the 19th of February. So you would have the money in hand by then. That might make the difference. But I just wanted to add that in addition to what you were saying. So thanks, Josh, for letting me pop in there.
That's okay. And thanks, Phil, for clarifying that. Hopefully I didn't sound like, oh, you must get there or we're going to drag you there. So yes, you're welcome to attend this one, but equally we understand it's short notice. You may already have plans, and then hopefully there'll be one towards the summer months, and we'll be releasing that as soon as that's confirmed. Moving on then. So the last thing is just around, you may have seen an email that was sent out a few weeks ago around upcoming sessions and some of the meetings coming up, and you're probably thinking, where are those invites? When am I going to get them? So we plan to get them out once we've got everyone's details from each LPA. And on that email was a link, which I popped in the chat again. And if you haven't already done it for cohort 4.2, please can you fill it out as soon as possible, because this will just allow us to make sure we've got everyone that's required to attend the upcoming meetings, and equally making sure that we're requesting access and giving access to the right people in your LPA on ODP Hub and Slack and the other tools that you are required to use. So if you could do that, I think the deadline was tomorrow, but if you need to do it on Friday, then we'll aim to get out all invites by the end of play next week, ready for the first session, which is the following week. But yeah, without going into all of those sessions, you'll get a bit of a roadmap on the sessions, the dates, next Tuesday for DPIF. And then the next slide takes me on to this. So where to go if you need help in between now and then. Whilst we are working on getting you added to the relevant tools and invites, please email the digital planning team at communities.gov with any immediate questions. I know a lot of you have been in contact with Phil or others through that email address there. If you've got any questions between now and then, let us know. And I've got one final, just so we don't just like to talk, just another picture from another event. Tom, do you remember where this was? This was before my time, so I'm not going to remember. I know where it is.
This is the beautiful mid-century Mute Hall interior of Newcastle Civic Centre.
Lovely. Thank you, Tom. And I think we're back over to you with any Q&As.
Yeah.